Hey everybody. Today we're going to be working on a PlayStation 4 controller, and we're going to be putting some LED lights in it so that they kind of flash and things in this clear controller. And little Garrett is playing Roblox. So he's probably not going to be helping much today, but he'll be over there for more support. Alright. Open up the controller. He's a chicken.
That one's scary.
You want to get on the stream, Mommy? No? Are you hiding? I can turn it to where it sees you. No?
See. That's what they see. That's what they say. They see me. They don't see me. You can go over here, like right here. They won't see.
Right, so first thing we got to do is take the 4 screws out of the controller.
That's what they say. I'll just turn it on.
And the first time you take them out, they are glued in, so just put a lot of pressure and barely turn it so you don't strip the screws or anything. What? No, we'll show them this one once it's done. No. No, I want them to see it when it's done.
I also do that.
Yeah. Alright, so after you get those out, the easiest way to get the PlayStation controller to come out is just kind of squeeze together on the sides, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a lip there. I don't know if you can see that. If you squeeze together, see that little opening? And then right here, you're going to have a clip that's actually holding it in, and it may break that clip when you go to pull it out, but it still will snap together even with that broken, because I've done these before and they've done that.
And they still work.
And they still work.
Because obviously he's made one for him and he's made one for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we've already done 2 of these, one for me and one for him. And we got these on clearance at Walmart. And we have one left over, so I figured I'd do a stream for other people that wanted to do them for maybe a father-son project like we did, or whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to take this tool here that kind of goes in between that clip and try to get it out like that, but it may still break it. I don't know. Okay, that one snapped. Let's see if we can get this side. There it went. Alright. So that's got both of those. Let's see what I've got holding us up here. Right at the top here, it looks like it just needs to be pulled apart a little bit more. And then it'll just kind of slide right off the back. You're going to have a ribbon cable. So you're just going to slide that straight out like that, and then the back comes off. So after you slide that ribbon cable out of that spot right there, that just comes off. We don't need that anymore. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and unplug the battery.
Just to be safe.
Yep, just to be safe. Always take the power off as soon as you get a chance. So the place we put our LEDs is we kind of just put them right over here, right beside where it would rumble and things, so nothing would be in the way, nothing would touch it. And if you can see, there's actually a little bit of room behind that you can put it. I don't know if you can see it good or not, but there's quite a bit of room there that as they spin around and make it rumble, it's still not going to hit it or anything. So that's where we hit it. So what I did to make these work is I'll go ahead and turn on the voltmeter. You're going to need some 3 to 3.4 volt LEDs and the RGB LEDs if you want it to light up different colors, because the controller actually works off of 3.3 volt. So if you get that, then it'll work on the same voltage system. So I've got 2 of those. I'm going to lay them out, and we've got to figure out where a positive and where a ground is, or a negative, somewhere on the board so we can run the legs. And on a LED you have 2 legs, and one is always longer than the other. Hold that up there. The longer leg is your positive, the shorter one's your negative. I need a better camera. There we go. So that longer one, it's closer to me, is the positive, this one here, and that's the negative over there. So I'm going to turn on the voltmeter, and let's go ahead and link that by USB, and now we got voltage. So now you can see, let's see, right, go above this, right there, we got voltage on the multimeter, and I'm just going to take positive and negative probes, and we're going to see if we can find some voltage and a ground. So to look for a ground, first thing you can do is you can actually check your battery, because that's going to be your positive and negative, and that's how I found out that it was a 3.3 volt. So if I touch that there and there, if this battery is actually charged, or we just got it out of the pack, it may not even be charged, but we'll see. Let's touch that into there. Oh, no. And that one to there. No, it's probably not charged for it's brand new. We'll see. Maybe I'm just not getting the probes all the way down in there like it should be. So to find ground, I'm going to put it on diode mode, and it shows open line, and if I touch these together, it'll go from open line to whatever it's reading, or I can actually change it to what I call beeping mode, to where when you touch them together, it will actually beep. So we're going to try to find a ground. So to find ground, you can find, here's the black here, so we know that's going to be ground, and then we're just going to try to find something else, because this is only going to be active if it's telling it to rumble. So we don't want to put positive and negative here, because then the lights will only light up when this thing is going around and making the controller shake. So we're going to touch that to the black. We're going to try to find a ground. Why are you crying back there?
You have to have 25 dang Robux just to play a game on here.
Yeah. Roblox is bad for that. It is dumb. Charge you money for everything, don't they?
Yeah. Flamethrower.
Let's see.
Yay.
Not finding the ground on that. Let's try to find it from down here.
Oh, look. Why is there a phone here? Oh, this is yours. I must have it. I'll break into
What are you
it.
doing with my phone? Don't bother my
Breaking
phone.
into it.
No, don't break into my phone.
I break into
I don't want you to break into my phone. Oh, there we go. So I'm using this one down here, and it's what's holding this port on. So it's definitely a ground, because your pin's from the port are back here.
There's a big crack.
So there's the ground, and I'm just using it to try to find the ground over here. And of course, this big blob right here is a ground, so we can use that as our negative on the LED, and then hopefully, yep, that one on that side is the ground on that side. So we can use those as the grounds on both sides, and then we need to find the positive. So since this one isn't going to a ground, something tells me that this is only activated when it's supposed to rumble. That's the reason it's not connected to ground right now. So I bet our power is constantly on there. Wonder if we could run it to that. We could try it. Because I honestly cannot remember what I ran it to. If this is positive. Yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to run it to the red wire on both of these. And then on ground, we're going to run it to this blob and this blob, which are connected because they're both on ground. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's turn this off.
Soviet Onion. The Soviet Onion.
It's Soviet Union, not Soviet Onion.
Oh.
What are you playing?
Nothing.
Roblox should teach more about history if you think that's called the Soviet Onion. That's crazy. Another thing we're going to need, since we're running LEDs, you have to run a resistor. So I'm going to put a 480 ohm resistor. 430 ohm. Yeah, 430 ohm. Are you okay? So I'm trying to talk to people and you're back
That's the
there
music.
doing
I
rain
like it.
chants.
I like it.
Well, listen to it. I don't need to hear
I
it.
want the K9 unit.
I don't like the music. So I'm going to get two 430 ohm resistors out.
I gotta go to the
We're going to use them. Alright. So, to keep from using a bunch of wires and having things hanging down so it hits these as they spin, and then we have all kinds of problems, I'm going to try to just use the legs of this for the wires.
Let's get a gun. We gotta fight for the onions.
Alright, so let's turn on the soldering iron.
We gotta fight for the onions.
That joke got old quick.
Dun, dun, dun,
And of course, longer leg is what we're going to run to positive. And I'm going to go ahead and hook it to the resistor while I'm able. I'm going to wrap this around the wire just so it definitely has a good connection. Make sure I don't wrap the negative to that. And then I will use the wire from the resistor to take it to that positive.
Robots.
Alright, I'm going to solder that too so that it holds well.
The only gear I can get is a knife.
Okay.
That costs
I don't
50
care if you're
Robux
talking, but
just
you're
to get.
talking so loud that people can't hear what I'm telling them what to do.
What?
Exactly. You got a headset on, you're talking really loud. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Let me mute the music. Oh man, it's muted.
I don't care if you listen to the music, just don't repeat the music or keep talking really loud. Stop being loud. He can't hear because he's got his headset on. Alright, so we're going to put that on there. I got my soldering station set to 400 degrees. And I'm just going to solder a little bit to this leg so it holds it.
Okay.
And that should be good. Clean it off. Yeah, that's on there good. It's not going to go anywhere and it's not going to touch the negative anything.
No.
Now we got to figure out how to run these
What?
to the right places. So
Now
this
you
one needs to go
stop,
to the
though.
red, and this one needs to go to that ground way up there.
I wanna go to that
And we need to
guy.
kind of move it so that that doesn't touch any of the others on that circuit board other than this way up here. Or we could attach a wire, have more stuff hanging around, but not worry about it grounding out on anything.
What? There.
So I'm just going to shove that down in there. And if I run it right to there, nothing's going to be touched as far as the other contact points. And I can run that to the positive. Alright, so let's do that. Let's spin this around. Behind there. Let's run that to there. I'm sorry about the crappy camera. I'm sure y'all can't see anything about where I'm putting this. But I'm working on getting better cameras. I just can't afford them right now. Alright, so let's pull this a little closer and I'll show you how I've got it ran. So now, pull this light up. Yeah, there we go. So now I've got this. I'm going to run it right between those and up to that. So it'll be around these three here, and it's going to be going to that the biggest blob right next to the battery there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right there is where it's going to be running to. That let's get something I can point better with. That blob right there, right behind the battery plug that you probably can't see because of it. It's the big blob right behind that. Yeah, that big blob.
Man, this is hard. All you have to do is stand still. You put, man, this is hard.
Nope. There we go. So we're going to solder it to that,
Come on.
and that'll be a ground.
Come on, Tom. Oh my gosh.
Alright, so I've got that there. Let's move this out of the way.
Oh yeah.
Use a little extra solder. And I'm going to have to heat this up a little bit because it's already got solder there. And I'm going to move this wire out of the way so that I don't burn it.
Okay.
This is a new controller. Alright, so we're going to put it right there on that is where we're going to put it. So let's heat that up. Once we know that that solder that's already there is kind of hot, because we want to kind of mend these together, we don't want to just put solder on top of that or it won't really weld that good. Just want to heat it up. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and put a little flux on it. That'll help it melt too. So I've just got some regular flux here. Get some flux on there. And then we'll try it again. Alright, let's move that where it needs to be without touching any of the other wires. Need it right there. Nope, not there. Not there. There. That's where we need you. Now we're just going to bring in the solder. And hopefully that will weld right to it there. Let's get some tweezers. See if that'll push it down a little better. Oh yeah, now we got some melting going. So we're just going to fuse that to there. And then make sure it's not touching any of the contact points on here. Just move that over some. And now it's not touching any of the contact points on the board other than that. Now we're just going to run this resistor that was on the positive leg of the LED over to the where the red wire is going into the board.
I'm dizzy.
I'm just going to bend that down. I'm actually going to cut a piece of that off so I don't have as much to work with. There we go. And we're just going to put that, let's get a little more flux just so we make sure it melts quick. And then let's push this over to the red wire.
I got these stand here.
And just solder it to it.
Oof! Whee! I can swim! Oh, man. I'm leaving this team. I'm going to the VIP round. Limbo. That's a low limbo.
There it goes, just melted. And the wire just kind of fell into place. And now it looks solid. So that's got that one. And I don't know how well you guys can see it on that crappy camera, but I'll still try to show it to you. See if I can focus it. Okay. Yeah, now it's focused. Alright, so what I did is I ran it to this blob right here. That's going to the negative, which was the shorter leg on the LED. And then I have this red wire. It's going from that to a 430 ohm resistor to a 3 volt, 3 to 3.4 volt RGB LED. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to run it to the red and to the, I'll go ahead and show you on that side. It's going to go to that blob right there, the biggest one. Let's see. Right there. That big blob there at the top and to the red wire there. And once we get that on, we'll turn the controller on and see if the lights light up. Hopefully it will. So I need my other LED. I'm going to go ahead and put my resistor on the positive side again. I'm actually going to cut some of the leg off on this one this time, because that resistor makes up some wire that I can use. I'm going to just hold that positive. I thought that song died. Did that song not die? Baby Shark. Apparently it didn't. So that's awesome. Mommy Shark. Mommy Shark. Baby Shark. Mommy Shark. Alright. Let's put this back down and solder that and
I'm ready.
let's move this down so y'all can see. Can't see, I'm sorry.
I hope y'all miss.
Alright, so that's soldered on there now. Let's clean this off.
I hope y'all miss. Every single one of them is.
Alright. So we're going to run this one right down here on this side.
Yay!
Take it you were on the red team that won?
Yeah.
Yay!
Poop.
Alright, I want to run this one between these two wires. That way there's just less opportunity for it to touch something else and cause a problem.
All in the wall. All in the wall.
So let's run that there. And you're right there. Yeah, that looks good. So it'll be in almost the same spot as that one.
Hulk smash! Hulk smash!
And then we're going to run this resistor just kind of behind here so it don't touch anything. And
add 2 accounts. One's little Garrett 2, and the other is nothing.
yeah, you need to calm it down, child. Calm it down. Alright. So since the red's on that side, I'm going to run it up through there. So it will only be touching that red. So it can go behind all that and not have any trouble at all. See if I can push it down with that. I just need to get that behind the gray thing. Because if I can get it shoved down in there, it's not going to move, and then I don't have to worry about any of my wires moving. There it went. And if my wires don't move, it means they can't short out later on when the controller gets dropped or something like that. So now, got that going to there. And let's make sure it's not touching any of the other ones. There. I may put something, just a piece of tape or something, over these other ones so that it doesn't short out anything if it does happen to fall over and touch it. Alright, so let's get the solder ready, get some flux. And let's get this negative down first. Because since it's bigger, if we can get it down, then we've got it pretty good. Alright, hold it there for a second. Let that heat up because it's on a ground, so it sucks up more heat than a positive or something that's just on a really short circuit. So it will take up more heat, which means it takes more time to heat up. And once I see it starting to just soften up a little bit, I'll add some to it. And hopefully that will connect it to the ground there. And I think it did, but I'm just going to kind of push it down and make sure that it most certainly did. And it definitely did because it took a second. And the good thing is it's holding it off. I'll go ahead and show you that, because that actually worked out the way that did. Pull this light back up and see how it held it off the board there. So it's not going to short anything out, and that'll give me some room to put something under that so that none of those get touched and short the ground. Yeah. So I'm just going to take a piece of electrical tape. It's just regular black electrical tape is all this is, and I'm just going to cut a small piece, put it on, slide it under it, and that way it'll keep that from touching any of those and grounding out something that it shouldn't ground out. And let's push that down. Good deal. Alright, so that's insulated now, so that wire won't touch anything on the board. Now we have to solder this little resistor onto the red wire, and we should be good. So let's grab this. We're not going to need near this much from this resistor, so I'm just going to kind of bend it around and then cut a piece off, because I'm not going to need all that wire. It's too much. So I'll cut it right about there. And I want to get that out of my way. I'm going to bend this around to where it's going to this red wire, where it's going in. And I'm just going to solder that on there. And if this worked, then we should have lights when we turn this thing on. Let me just get this out of the way, because that's getting on my nerves now that I don't need it. All right. Okay. I'm just going to add a little solder there just to soften up what's already there. And it also adds some flux to it as well. Let's do this. Okay, so it looks like that's there. Let's check it out. Yeah, everything's there. So go ahead and show everybody again. Let's pull this light back up and show on this side here. I just took the short side of the LED and ran it to the big one there that we used the multimeter and checked in diode mode and made sure it beeped with this, which is ground on the board, because these two things are just used to hold this port down here on. Yeah, the charging port. That's just used to hold them on, so those are definitely connected to ground. So that's what this is. Once we checked it with the voltmeter in continuity mode, this is the best way to say it. And then we took the 430 ohm resistor and ran it to where this red wire is going in right here. And put it right with the red wire. So, if all this worked, we should be able to now plug the battery in, not hear an explosion, and get some lights. Let's plug it in. It's plugged in, nothing blew up. So let's turn it on. And I was right, that's the reason we wasn't getting any voltage reading from that battery. It is completely dead. But that's okay, because I have a charger that we can use. Just plug it in long enough to see if this thing works. And pretty sure that, no, that's why it's not going to work, because the charger is here and I was trying to plug it in the extension down there at the bottom of the extension port. Don't know what I was thinking there. Okay, so this, the red plugs in here. And we'll plug it in the charger and see what we've got. I guess I could have used my power supply, put 3 volts on it, and touched it there and gave it power, and we could have went that route, but let's put it all back together. So if it don't work, that's just more stuff that I got to take back apart and fix. Alright, so now that is in there, and we can plug it in. And we have LEDs. Let's turn off the lights so y'all can see that. And they're actually changing colors. And we can move them now that we know they're soldered well and things. We can move them around to where they're kind of in the same spot on both sides and stuff. But they're actually working. And if I turn this on, got the backlight flashing where it's trying to sync up to the PlayStation. And if I unplug it, go off. So, and the way it worked on ours, if the battery is charged but it wasn't on or charging, these didn't come on. So that's another reason I like using the places that we use to hook them up, because then the LEDs don't just drain the battery on your PlayStation even when you're not playing it. They only light up when it's charging or if you actually have the controller on, if you hook it to the places that I have it hooked. So there you go. I'm going to move these LEDs around and things, and then I just push everything together. It just snaps in place. All I have to, if I just pressed it together right now, it would click in, and then I would just put the 4 screws back in. But I'm going to just kind of move this LED down a little bit to where it's a little more even, and then I'll put it all back together. But hope everybody learned something from it. I'm going to try to post this to YouTube as well, so anybody that wants to do this mod can do it and have them a light up controller. Thank everybody for watching. Have a good one.